Alright, what's going on, everybody? This is a training video specifically for Real Life Church when it comes to our lighting program called Lightkey. We have recently gotten Lightkey. It is a pretty new lighting software for our tech ministry here at our church, but wanted to make a couple videos about it real quick just so I can show everybody kind of how it works, how we use it, and if we ever need to update it in the future, you have this here. If you're watching this on YouTube and you see any recommendations that you recommend for Lightkey, I'd be more than happy to take it. Please leave a comment down below so I can take it and actually apply it. This is something I'm still learning as I'm processing and recording this video. But at the same time, I know enough to explain a little bit as of what's going on. So I first just want to start talking about how this is our Lightkey software. There's a lot that we can do with Lightkey, and so let's go ahead and just break this down a little bit. So right away, you can see on our bottom side here of the live section, we have the back LEDs, we have the wash lights, front LEDs, the mover, house lights, Sunday morning, all lights on and off. We got a lot going on here. We got all these lights up here at the top section. It gives a beautiful display of how it's supposed to be looking. So let's kind of break this down individually. As you can see at the bottom right here, we have our presets for, let's say, pre-service. And when we click on pre-service, it automatically puts it on that specifically. So we have pre-service, and we have song 1, we have song 2, we have all lights on, we have our prayer lights. We got a little bit of everything going on, and it's doing just a little bit of something on all of the lights, as you can also see on our screen here, all happening at once. So let's kind of break this down a little bit, because this can be kind of overwhelming when you first get into it, but we want to make sure that we have a good understanding of this. So far left here, we have the back LEDs. So if you turn on those individually, you'll see that there is a white LED section that was added to it. If you don't want it to be white and you want it to be dark blue, you can change it to be dark blue. If you want it to be teal, you can change it to be teal, red, violet, so forth. There's so many different things you could do with this. Let's kind of do a quick little breakdown of how to even get something like this. So let's say, for example, instead of white, you wanted to have a color of, I don't even know what color. Let's just go ahead and design it real quick. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the design section down here at the bottom, and we're going to highlight all of our back LED lights here. At this point, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it on, turn the dimmer all the way up, and let's go ahead and make our color green. I don't think we have a nice solid green in here. So what we do is we take the color wheel and we make it green. And at this point now, we want to go back to our live section down here, and we want to click edit and the plus sign right here. And what that will do is that will add a green section. We don't want to make it green 2. We just want to make it green 1, because we're going to move it over to our back LED section. So at this point, we just added our green, and we're going to click done. And now we see that we have our green now in here. So we can go from green to red to yellow to violet to green to white. Just as simple as that. Not only that, but we also have our wash lights. Those are just our front lights for the stage. You turn those on at 100%, 75%, 50%, 25%, 0%. You can add it with the back LED itself if you wanted to kind of creatively do it on the fly. We could change colors. We also have our front LED lights. So our front LEDs, they just do exactly what they say. They are the front LEDs. So those paired with the wash lights are always nice, because they add a little bit of color with it as well. We don't typically put like blue or purple or yellow during the sermon itself. We just leave them at white. And I think that always looks pretty good. We have our movers. So movers are kind of a little bit more. If you want to have the movers on, you're going to have to pick what default section you're going to want them to be at. So let's say blue, and you want it to be cross stage, and you want it to be at 100%. Now you have our cross stage movers on at 100%. Or if you wanted to have it at the default section, which is just center like that, or if you want to move them to the crowd, you have them for the. So there's a little bit of to do with the movers, and then the house lights here. House lights 100%. We want to be dimmed. We want worship. We don't want them on at all. But for right now, we want them on. So that's kind of breaking down the layout of our live section of how we do it. Now let's kind of get to the design section of each one of these. So if you are new to lighting, each one of these lights need a DMX code to it. You can see back on the back of your lights, LED lights, you can see that there's typically a DMX code in there. So let's kind of go to the DMX section of all this. So in here, you can see how we kind of have it broken down for our DMX coding. We have a handful of lights, 0, 1 through 37. We have 45 through 69, and so on and so on. You can see at the bottom, we have 256 channels licensed to us specifically, and we have 172 channels being used currently, and so we still have room for more if we wanted to. But each one of the lights have a fixture name and a fixture profile. And you can typically, let's say if you ever add a light in there, you can typically go find your LED light on the side here as well. So there's a lot that you can definitely do. Let's say you got an ABD and that you got a profile right here. You can literally grab this and drag it in wherever you want. Makes it really easy here on Lightkey. So from there, you are going to take that and you'll have it program it where you'll have to work on it if you are going to be adding it in. So let's go ahead and say you are working with the front lights. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and design the front lights again so you can kind of see one more time how the design factor works. And we'll break it down for each one of these. So we started with the LED lights here. We have the design factor where you have to turn the dimmer on, the color on, all those things. Not just for those. You could do it individually if you wanted to. If you wanted to do just certain ones, you know, every other, you could design it a certain way, turn on the dimmers like this, set these to be pink, and then you could set these to be another one as well if you wanted to. Let's say we want it to be blue. So we got pink and blue now. You could do it like that. You can right click on the clear properties for the fixtures so you can get out of that really quick. There's so many things you can do in this. You have a lot of creative options. For the washers, for the wash lights, you just turn the dimmer on and then you set the color of what you want. You want it to be a cool or you want it to be a warm, you know? We like to have a mixture of both. I think it's too yellow with that. And I think it's too, I guess, cold with that one. So I think it's a nice blend to have them both. From there, you have our LED lights in here. So we turn our dimmers. We change the color that we want in here, however we want it, and so forth. Obviously, we're not going to set it to strobe or anything like that. I don't think that's necessary for Sunday morning. All right, let's move on. We have our two movers here. Movers are always pretty cool. You can do a lot of different things with the movers. We can set it to be whatever color we want it to be. We can set the design pattern to be a certain way if we wanted to. We could set it to be strobe if we wanted to, which I don't think we would. A lot of different things that you can do. Movement speed, and so forth. So that's kind of the simple breakdown of designing things for our setup, for our lights, even with our house lights as well. You'll see over here on the right side, we have our house lights. And the way that we have it set up is that fixture 8 needs to be on at all time for even our house lights to even work. Okay? So automatically, if you're going to work on our LED lights, our house lights, you have to have fixture 8 on. Okay, that's really important. 6 through 1 here are the rows. So let's say, for an example, you wanted just the front row to be off. Well, you would highlight fixture 6 then and dim it down, as you can see on our screen here. Let's say you wanted to have the next couple ones to be down. Well, you take the next row, dim that down, and so forth. So then you see row, fixture 3, fixture 2, and fixture 1 right back here. And then each one of these work together to do exactly what you want it to do. And then if you want to turn them all down, you highlight and go from there. So anyways, that's really important. Like I said, you make sure you have fixture 8 on for our specific design, the way that it works. And however they set it up originally for the DMX lighting channel for our house lights. Really important. So there's a lot of different things you could do. That's kind of our basic layout of our live setup for Sunday mornings. We're going to go through more cues here in a second for our commands. And we could also talk about more when it comes to the design factor, where on the design, if you wanted to have more of a moving setup, you could actually go into you could highlight one of them. You could actually turn the dimmer on for it and change the color to be a color effect. So if you have a certain idea of you were like, I want this to be moving, but I don't know how to design it. Well, Lightkey has a lot of really cool options in here when it comes to moving. So we can just go with the confetti look real quick. We can add that to it, and you can see that it's adding this cool lighting effect to our back wall. It's doing a lot of cool things. So Lightkey is really easy to use, very user friendly, and I would say for churches specifically too, it makes it nice and easy. I would say for churches too specifically, it makes it nice and easy to actually program things to have a professional, modern look to it as well. So that is Lightkey. Let's move on to the next section of Lightkey, which is our Sunday morning. We have our Sunday morning cues already loaded up and ready to go. If you watched the previous video of Pro Presenter, you probably saw how our Pro Presenter has lighting cues connected between MIDI. I'm not going to talk about how MIDI is connected. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there to watch that Renewed Vision has done. But I'm going to explain a little bit how our lighting cues are connected. So in Pro Presenter, over here we have our macro setup, edit actions, and MIDI note on. Well, we have a note number 1 right here for song number 1. So we can go back over to Lightkey, and here are our cues that are set up for Pro Presenter. We have song number 1, song 2, song 3, song 4, pre-service countdown, all lights on, and prayer. All these things right here are cues, and we can go up to the top left right here. We can show the external controls that are happening at all times. So all these things right here show that song 1, song 2, song 3, song 4, pre-service countdown, all lights on, and prayer. It works great, and it shows clearly that there's an activation key to it. If you need to figure out how to connect something, strongly recommend you watching a MIDI connection through Renewed Vision that they really explain in depth. So there's a lot of good stuff, but this is how we kind of set up. We have it through MIDI, and this shows all of our MIDI connections through all of them. So if they're not working, then you need to make sure the external control is working and good to go. You can see inside of them that it's an activate and deactivate cue. So that makes it really easy to kind of pick and choose which one you're actually even wanting. And like I said, there's so much more to Lightkey that I haven't even really dove deep into, but I wanted to show you how we do it here at Real Life Church. So if you ever have any questions in the future when it comes to our lights, you can go on here as a reference, and hopefully you can take this video and maybe learn from it and kind of go from there. So thank you guys for checking this out, and hope this makes sense. And if you got any questions, or if you have any better ways that we could even do this as a church, please comment this down below. So thank you so much for watching.